Welcome, lawn care legends, to another edition of Lawn Care Skull Sessions with Benny and BJ. I'm obviously BJ, the bearded lawnsman, and this is my cool co-host, Benny from Catch Pro Australia. Bam!
G'day.
What's happening, Ben?
A little bit of everything. Still super busy. Wouldn't have thought that in April I'd be doing 15-hour days.
Yeah, well.
But it's happening. And, you know, I'm not going to complain about being busy. And it's all Catch Pro stuff. So, you know, thanks to everyone out there who is buying lots and lots of Catch Pros.
Yeah.
You know, and along with all the other products. I think it's probably more, you know, building that many catches is, it's only part of the work. I think the back end is just starting to creep up, just lots and lots and lots of inquiries, lots and lots of emails, stuff getting lost in the post, all sorts of challenges. So, you know, it is what it is. And, you know, I think on your side of things, the grass is still kicking on.
It's still pumping. Look at me, straight off the tools, straight into the Catch Pro headquarters.
Yeah.
Hired another guy yesterday.
Yeah, cool.
Young fella. He's 17. He's already been to the mines. He's got a bit of cash flow going, and he's come back because he missed his family and he wants to rock and roll with us. So I was like, yeah, jump on. So all is going well. First day today. So far, so good.
Yeah, I mean, I actually had a phone call today with Gary Ashton from Aussie Lawn Stars, and you know he's going through some stuff with.
Who's that? Nah, just kidding. I love you, Gary.
It would have been worse if you said, "Who is she?" Yeah, you know, he said he's sort of going through the same thing, and it's causing all sorts of issues. Onto a happier note, though. How's the Miss D Scarlett?
Yeah, what the heck?
Thanks, D. I'm not sure. I mean, obviously you do listen.
Yeah.
Or you picked up our code from somewhere. But definitely thrilled about that.
Yeah.
And you look good rocking the gear.
Yeah,
I mean,
she's cool as shit too. I messaged her. I said, hi there, D. Can we use the photo on our Instagram? She's like, yeah. Go for it.
Oh, so man, she's as cruisy as. So if there is any other women there, make sure to check out D Scarlett rocking the bad workwear. I reckon that they have an awesome line of workwear for women. It's not as, you know, I guess we'll run an ad later, but it's not as like generic stuff, you know, like it's.
Wait, does everyone want to see my bad shorts?
Get up and show them.
Look at them.
I'm actually wearing mine too.
Oh my god!
Mine are a bit.
Wait, should I like flash up a Skull 10?
Mine are as dirty as yours, but
yeah. Oh, look at them. Benny, your bum looks real good in them.
Cut it out. So, I don't know, maybe we won't run an ad.
Skull 10, all in caps. No, Skull, all in caps.
Yeah, make sure it's Skull.
For 10% off. God damn.
And coming into winter, there's going to be... So, it's as hot as shit here still, right?
I'm actually sweating. I was just about to mention how hot it is.
And Gary said it was like 11 degrees the other day going to work, and he's wearing a hoodie for like an hour.
Well, I'm freaking out because I'm going to Melbourne this weekend to hang out with the Skag crew at the Grand Prix, and I don't know what to wear. I'm from Queensland. I've never been to Melbourne. So I'm like skitzing out like, do I need jumpers? Do I need a quilt?
And what makes it even more nerve-wracking is when Rob came here, he knew exactly what to wear. He's just waltzed up in his pluggers with shorts.
And he's like, so I spoke to Duncan Russell today, and he said, yes, you always need a jumper when you come down here. But I'm like, oh, shit, how many jumpers do I need? Because I think there'll be a little bit of drinking happening, and with the beard, I get a bit sloppy. I might spill. Maybe I'll just wear a black jumper.
Well, I'm a huge punce in the cold weather, so I'd probably go down there with my little tracksuit on.
Maybe I can get like a full matching tracksuit, like an Adidas one. Everyone will think I'm a b-boy.
It's Adidas.
Oh, yeah, I do.
Adidas. Nah, Adidas. I say Adidas.
Oh, I've just been like the fattest b-boy in Australia.
Before we get into the show, well, we might actually say today we're talking about the upsell and why it is important to upsell.
Yeah.
We can talk about some positives mainly. We will talk a little bit about the negatives.
Yeah.
Before we get there, shall we read? I've got a comment here from Ben Nutting on YouTube.
Yep.
You want me to have a crack at this?
Yeah, have a crack. That's a
so
long
he
one.
said, thanks again, legends. You had me laughing the whole time. It's like hanging out with me mates. Would love to have an episode on insurance and who offers what and what it all means, and what you would be covered for. Cheers, legends, from the greener pastures of mowing team in WA.
Thanks, Benny.
So love the comment about hanging with your mates. That's really cool.
Kind of what we sort of aim to do. It's
mate, it's just how it is, you know.
It's natural.
We do have another one here.
Oh, from Hugh.
Another dude from WA. So
Yeah.
WA rocking it.
Hugh wrote, legends, 150% awesome as always. Great valid points in the show regarding finance. So many variables involved in financing that this could easily be a rolling sidebar for. Oh,
Yeah.
topic 4.
That might have been a comment from before the episode, maybe when we were like putting feelers out there.
Maybe.
Actually not, because the comment is only from an hour ago. I can actually see it's from an hour ago.
How good is the content and the preparation?
Yeah.
But I read that all the way through till the cursor was in top of the word topic, so I was just like, just made up a word.
We have another one from Michael, CPM Brisbane. Appreciate the content, guys. Finance offers me financial stability. Otherwise, I wouldn't be able to have the MT25i. That must be the Walker.
Yeah,
MT.
it is, yeah.
So, look, valid point. We did have some people disagree with us, which is cool. Gary Ashton was one. He said that he's always been an outright pay guy, and that he would love to do an interview and challenge us.
Okay.
Which, I mean, for me, it's just not much of a challenge. We sort of, hey, I guess if someone has 20 or 30 grand to piss away on a business risk, that, fair enough. It's not like I've never bought anything outright before.
No, like my trailer, that's all outright.
It's just bits and pieces.
The Walker was an outright purchase.
Yeah.
That was a fucking bad one. But
well, I don't think any of my zero turns have ever been outright purchases. I think every single one has been a finance.
Anything under 10 grand was. So my Country Clipper and the Walker was.
Yeah, okay. I think I've always had a loan in some form or fashion, but hey, gotta do what you gotta do.
That's it. Any more?
We have a review. I believe we have a new review on iTunes. We might leave that for next week. We might just start getting amongst it. Actually, we do have one more
Enormous
here.
Property Maintenance. He just commented, great advice. Thanks, boys. Thank you. Always appreciated. Any kind of feedback is always welcome.
Awesome. So, today we are talking about the upsell. Now, many of you might have listened, hopefully, to the episode that we had about specialising in, I don't know if it was an episode or if it was just...
I think we had a couple of sidebars on it.
Another example of how I should do some research. But anyway.
This is how we are.
So, look, going back to that, you can go back in the archives and have a listen to that. I do think it's still great. But when we're talking about upselling, I think, it's great to specialise, but if you can touch a broad range of applications, and it's awesome. So, do you want to just give us a quick explanation or what that might be? Let's say I've called you up. G'day, Beard.
Is that how people address me? G'day, Beard.
That's how I would address you.
Okay, cool.
G'day, Beard. I want a quote for whippersnipping and mowing. You've just arrived.
I roll in and I have a look around. I sort of see what needs doing, and I just go from there. So,
G'day, this is my lawn. How much?
I'd say, mate, what are you looking for? Are you looking for a premium package or things like that? Like, I'll ask if they want weed spraying, if they want turf management programs, do they want mulching, do they want hedging, do they want just anything that I can see that needs to be done that isn't done by the homeowner. I'm like, fuck it, I can get that.
Yeah.
So I'll give you a perfect example today. I got a call today. Actually, I got a call yesterday. I've done a few little backyard jobs for a body corporate manager. She's like an on-site manager at a huge village.
Is she hot?
No.
Okay.
So she just messaged me and said, look, well, you're my go-to now for any backyard work. Is that okay? I said, perfectly fine. So she messaged me and said, look, I've got some common area stuff that needs doing. I said, yep, shoot me through what you need done. And it's just like some topsoiling job on a bit of a slope. It's just, peeling back and rocks are being exposed, blah, blah, blah. I said, cool, I'll throw in a quote and we'll see how we go. So today she rang me, and we'd spoken about this when I turned up because I really wanted this place. I actually put a video up of this place on LMCA not that long ago, and how it was it's shabby as fuck. Like,
yeah,
it's shabby as shit, and she knows it. And I tried to upsell her, tried to say, we could come in here and do a lot better job, hook us up. She said, no, I can't. And it all sort of spun around today, and she messaged me and said, look, I've got these landscapers, they keep pulling out of a job. There's a $50,000 budget here for, it's just mulching. Like she quoted like 310 cubic meters, but I don't think it's 310 cubic meters. I
feel like you can mulch a suburb with that.
Yeah, that's a lot. So she's like, yeah, come in and let us know what you think. And I said, look, I could do it, but I think you need to look at giving me the maintenance as well. Yeah. I said the maintenance comes before the mulching. All the hedges, the garden beds, all need to be cleaned out properly before we come in here and lay $50,000 worth of mulch and stones. So I'd done the upsell. So she already had me in mind because I said previously I did like a $70 pull of fucking weed out of the backyard. So she already had me in mind, and she said, I really want you to do it. You seem like a good crew. Let's work something out. So, plant the upsell. Even if you know that you can't do it straight away, like plan it when you first cruise in. That's how I work.
My thought process has always been, and there will be people who, a lot of lawnmower guys or girls, they want to be able to get in and out as quickly as they can. So some people, it only suits them. They just want to whippersnip, mow and blow.
Yeah, there's tons of people who run around without hedges and stuff like that.
Yeah, so now that's okay. The problem that I see with it is your business will become very seasonal.
Yeah.
And the back end starts to become more and more because you actually, let's say an average job is $60 to $70. And you need to hit $500 or $600 or $700 in a day. You're looking at anywhere between 7 to 10 jobs, which is great. It's fine. It can be done easily, and you can have a very lucrative business. But if you're able to upsell on half of those clients, trim a hedge there, you're spraying weeds over here, you can do all sorts of things that we'll get right into. Yeah. But it's going to end up being like some people just don't like being in one place at one time. Now I know a local guy here, he's a cousin of mine, Craig Burrows.
Yeah,
he is just like, man, he just wants to punch out those lawns and just forget about it.
Yeah,
which is cool. But if you only have to hit 4 or 5 jobs a day as a solo operator, and you can bump that up to say $120 per visit.
Yeah.
It's less invoicing, less driving, less liaising with people. You're actually lowering the risk of things that can just fuck up in a day. Yeah. So, if you pop 100%. A tire, like this dude,
fuck.
you know, it's sort of like, well, okay, instead of getting to 6 more jobs, I really only have to get to 1 or 2 more.
Yeah.
Unless you pop it at first thing in the morning, which
did
you do.
Did you see
sometimes.
Michael Carroll's blowout?
Oh, man, that wasn't a pop.
That was a shred.
That was Shredder from the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Congratulations to him on his new Turf Tiger, man. He's fucking loving it. He's messaged me already.
Yeah, what are you towing that thing around on these days?
Fuck.
You see him skull dragging his bloody skull dragging the turfy. What is it again?
Turf Tiger.
Turf Tiger, yeah.
61-inch Turf Tiger.
That's an awesome machine. So to the upsell, like I know because we're not really in the residential market.
Yeah.
We sort of, for us, it's not that much of an upsell.
It's more of an upsell when you do a proposal.
Yeah. But like for us, a lot of the extra, say, upsells, a lot of it is required anyway. Yeah. But, you know, like I always looked for things like, so we've talked about this before as well. In the winter time, when, you know, things are just not growing as gnarly and stuff like that, we will always, because for us, we wanted to get that job fortnightly all year round.
Yeah.
So we knew how much we had on the books each week. We knew if any new business was coming in, we knew which to fuck off or what we could fit in. And lots of things that we would always come up with is like in the winter time, that's when we will start getting into our mulching. That's when we will start getting into, you know, in your autumns and springs, some of your turf management stuff.
Yep.
And then along with pressure cleaning.
Yeah, pressure cleaning is a big one.
We didn't go as extreme as, you know, like gutter cleaning and stuff like that.
I'm not really a fucking roof kind of guy.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it just was like... It wasn't regular enough for me. And then there's also businesses out there that can actually, the ones that are set up to do it, they're actually really affordable.
Yeah, and efficient too. Like,
yeah, it's not actually a bad idea to try and outsource some of those guys and say like, oh, you know, I've got this job here, here, and here, and you can just mark them up. Yeah. Another example, which some people may snicker at, but you know, at your site, you upsold them on the public toilet cleaning.
Yeah, so we've got a site with there's a pool. We take care of the pool and the toilets now. So we didn't do that previously, and you know, it's not much, but it's a good little bit of pocket money.
Yeah, and it also adds I think that these things add a little bit of variety.
Yeah, and to be honest, I'm the one who probably uses the public toilets there more than anyone else.
So you're just cleaning up your own shit.
Yeah, my own muck.
I mentioned once I cleaned toilets for a little bit when I was working briefly. I worked part-time with EPMS.
Yep.
And they did all these body corporate buildings, and occasionally there'd be a toilet or what have you. And I mean, I didn't find it that gross. I actually kind of enjoyed it. Just in the sense that the way that they did it, you never really touched anything gross.
Yeah.
And it got you out. Oh, I know where you were going. But it got you out of that sunlight.
Yeah.
And just got you doing...
something different.
Something a little bit different. Like, I know when we used to kind of sweep and mop the stairwells or wipe the handrails down or something like that, it was so much easier than swinging a hedge trimmer around or getting, you know, whippersnipper in the face, all sorts of stuff like that.
So I'm going to throw...
Go on, tell
it's not really a side
tell your Sturge story.
So I went to... so one morning we were setting up, so we'll put the creepy crawly in the pool, and I caught out of the corner of my eye some dude walking 2 dogs, and he like tied him up outside the toilet, and he went to use the toilet, and I went in there, and I shit you not, this guy had shit everywhere. There was shit on the floor, there was shit everywhere. It was the worst thing. It was probably one of the funniest things that's ever happened, because I got my offsider in there. I was like, fucking look at this. And it was like a full duck squirt. You know, like a duck on the side of the pond? Like, squirt.
Yeah.
It was like that. And I cleaned it up but I reported this guy. I knew who he was. And I full reported him to the body corporate. And they didn't do anything because they were all too embarrassed. I'm like, clean this guy's shit up.
Yeah, man, that's nasty, eh?
It was
Like,
foul, but fuck.
I got a little poopy sidebar.
Okay.
Which I don't know how proud of it I am. But we used to go surfing with the bros at 5 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
So quite often we'd been out on the piss.
Yeah.
And whoever was decent enough to drive would drive, right? So 5 o'clock in the morning, leave Brisbane, head down to Goldie. And quite often we would surf along the open beaches of Tugun.
Yep.
Or, whatever. I'm just using that as an example. And there was a bum that lived in the toilet. And it was always really awkward because, kind of been on the piss and you get down there and everyone's had Maccas for breakfast and everything. And it's like, all right, before we go for a surf, let's just go bomb diggity the toilets. And you'd see this homeless bastard in there. And I don't know who started it. I don't know who started it. But instead of sturgeon in the toilet, you just sturgeon next to it.
What the fuck?
I know. And so
fucked.
I'm actually, I can't say if it was me or not. Or if I ever did it, whatever. But I just remember sitting in one of the cubicles and, then just looking down next to me, and you could just see a Mr. Whippy forming at your feet in the next.
Fuck.
Is this too much for this?
That's one fucked up story that I was never involved in. I'm actually glad.
Yeah, so I can't say I'm very proud of it. But
wow,
that's my little poopy side.
Yeah, that's the heaviest one, man.
Sorry about that.
Good on you. Fucking.
We've talked on a live feed before about poopy sidebars, and it was one of our most popular.
It went off. I don't know what happened there. Everybody got in the poopy talk. But
anyway,
yeah, what was our topic again? Upselling. You upsold the cleaning fucking market over there in Tugun.
Yeah. So let's get back to the program.
Yeah. So upselling is a huge part of business anyway. We even though we do big contracts, I'm always looking for shit. Today, I was straight up we could cut down a few bigger trees this year and hire a chipper and just chip the mulch it back into the gardens. I thought about pressure cleaning. So I think it's not paved that bit at Scrub Road. It's like a concrete and it's always filthy. For some reason, it was pretty at the time, but I've already put forth a proposal to pressure clean all the gutters. Even on big sites, people want the gutters clean because they get that. I don't know if it's tire crud or just
mold, just general, shit. But I mean, there's it gives you more opportunities as well to take more control over a job.
Yeah.
So, I do think, even if we just briefly touch on chemicals, with your pre-emergence, and then you've got all your fertilizing, then you've got all your broadleafs, things like that. You can get a client and they might only want the whippersnipping and mowing, which you might initially quote and you might do it, say 3, 4, 10 times.
Yeah.
And as you get going along, and you see, there's nothing better than when you see, if you rock up to a property and they only want a quote for the mowing, and you have a look and they've got, these immaculate hedges, that's when you know that it's probably not going to be an easy upsell here.
Yeah.
But, if you can see things are starting to look a little shabby, because it is one extreme to the other. If they're revolting hedges and they're just an absolute disaster, you can almost think to yourself, well, these people actually don't give a shit. They're probably not going to spend any money on that.
You know what one of the biggest ones at places like that is thinning out palms. Fucking golden canes, man. Those things make some money.
Just make sure that you are on your game because you can look at one of those things and think it's going to take you X amount of time, and by the time you're done with that motherfucker, it's time to go home for the day.
Even just so at one of my villages, we've got palms that line the driveway. How many meters do you reckon that is? Probably
probably 40.
About 40 meters on each side. and I can fill the trailer of every fortnight. Just
And the
with,
bloody snakes that are in there.
fuck yeah! I was blowing next to one of the hedges today, and I blew a bit of mulch off accidentally. And there was a fucking massive blue tongue under there. I nearly backflipped.
Yeah, yeah. Well, we actually just picked up a new acreage, 3-acre property. The dude's getting rid of the house, and it had internal horse fences everywhere, and he got them removed. Now there's actually like I guess it's a horse stable, and it had like all the horse feed and hay and shit. And they started to, like, I'm assuming he had a machine in. They started just, grabbing all the stuff, and it was a big snake pit.
Really?
Like 6 big snakes in there.
Really? You know what? They used to do that property, which was funny.
Apparently.
Yeah.
So does everyone know this? It's next door to bloody Nola's.
Nola! Oh my god!
So Nola doesn't live there anymore. But it's next door to Nola's of all places.
Critter Central.
Yeah. As soon as I met Rusty there this morning, and we were showing him around before the owner came, and he's just looking over there, and he's just like, the critters, eh? Anyway, I was supposed to take some footage to put on Instagram, but it got away from us as soon as, because the dude said, beautiful Queenslander.
It was a beautiful house.
And he's like, yeah, man, I'm knocking this down. I'm like, what? He's like, well, actually, I sold it for 30 grand. I'm like, what? And we just mentioned, we're like, oh, what's in there? And he's like, oh, mate, come inside, take whatever you want. And I thought, because if you got someone like Rusty with you, that's high alert.
Yeah.
And no fucking word of a lie, Russell is like, oh, can I take this dishwasher? And he's fucking going to take the dishwasher and everything. So,
oh god.
I thought he was joking. I just thought he was like, because he knows he's fucked up. I thought he was just like messing, but he was being dead set. He's taking the bloody dishwasher.
Really?
So there's a water tank that I might take. But to get back to the point, I mean, this dude is an upsell dream.
Yeah.
It started off that we were going to mow and whip a snip. Now, we've ended up telling him that it's actually going to work out better for everyone if we do like a big spray, like 3-acre spray, and then dial him into a program.
Yeah. So
we're actually still going to charge the same, maybe a little bit more, but instead of, because this 3-acre property, mate, there's trees everywhere. Instead of running the snipper around all of those trees, we are going to be able to charge to spray and then just duck around the bits that come back.
Yeah.
And, I mean, like I said, it's going to be an upsell dream.
Yeah. When I did it, there was fucking horses everywhere, so...
Yeah, she's all vacant now, so... the upsell, I think what holds the upsell back in the Australian market is in summer we get so busy.
Yeah.
And it's difficult to try and upsell because you're already just, running yourself ragged anyway. But you'd have to agree that in the winter months, the upsell is king.
Yeah. And if you're not someone who will take holidays, if you're scratching for cash during winter, upselling is perfect. Like, there's mulching, there's tree trimming, there's spraying that you can do. Like, garden cleanups are huge fucking profit. Like, huge money in garden cleanups. Hedge reductions, that fucker ain't coming back for a long time. Like, you'll get very good results cutting hedges in winter, especially things like Moreas. There are a few finicky hedges that probably shouldn't cut back real hard in winter, but things like Moreas, it's all good.
And you have to, what I sort of want to try and talk about is, with the upsell, you don't want to go in, because, essentially what you're becoming is a salesman for yourself.
Yeah.
You're really selling yourself or selling a service that you can provide. And, I tell you, we had him on the show earlier this year. Shorey's from Shorey's Outdoors.
I spoke to him today.
He is I remember, we used to roll into a place and he'd just be like, oh yeah, and it's instead of being like, oh look, we can trim that hedge or something. He's like, oh man, he's like, we can trim that hedge, and then once you get that straight line there and the sunlight hits it like there, rah, rah, and he was just like I remember watching him do his thing. Sometimes I'm like, man, this dude could sell fucking ice to an Eskimo.
Yeah,
like he just was.
There's no wonder why he's flat out. Like I spoke to him today, and it sounded like he was running while he was on the phone. I was like,
yeah. So
no.
I do think there is a certain knack to it. Now, I can also relate in a sense with Catch Pro.
Yeah.
Obviously, like Catch Pro is like an upsell dream, right? So
Yeah.
someone's like, oh, I'm taking a look at the trimmer racks, and all of a sudden it's like, oh, well, you're going to need some trimmer rack blower covers with them.
Yeah.
And then it's like, we also have separate shaft brackets too, because you can, you might have 6 machines, but you only might be buying a 4-place trimmer rack.
Yeah.
And it just means that if one breaks down, you can bung the other one in, don't have to take nothing apart, rah, rah. And it's an upsell dream.
Huge.
Not to mention that we do have Afterpay, Hum, and Zip. So...
Stop upselling everyone, Ben.
So essentially, you don't even need to have the money.
Cashpro.com.au.
You can just fucking bung that shit in the cart and go for it.
It is true. Like there's upselling in all sorts of different parts of life. Like,
Now, what I will say is different is that with Catch Pro, I don't like upselling unless I actually feel that person has a use for it.
Yeah.
So like the other day, they spent like $5,000 or $6,000 on the website. They bought a Mojack. They bought all the goodies, right? And I noticed that he bought 2 Pro Scrapers. And I'm sitting there thinking like, that's kind of quizzical that you would buy 2 Pro Scrapers, because now I would understand it if you had like a work site and maybe like a home, like 2 crews, one was at a site. Like I'd kind of understand that. Like we have stuff at the village and I have stuff here. But, I sort of was like, dude, I don't know if you need this other Pro Scraper. And my wife said to me like, oh, fuck. Like she just wanted to pack the order. She's like, no, fuck it, let's just send it. And I was sort of like, it's just a funny one, Yeah. So, he ended up taking it.
Yeah.
So I was wrong. But I do think with the upsell sometimes, you don't want to get caught out. You don't want to suggest that, for example, you don't want to be fertilizing when it's like 7 degrees.
Yeah.
Things like that.
I took over a hedging job in the backyard of one of my villages.
Oh, you're very clever.
Yeah, so...
Sorry, mate, that's fucked.
Fuck. Yeah. No, I did that. And so the guy before me was actually a hire hubby. And so this lady got my little flyer because my body corporate sent all my flyers out to everyone and said, this guy can be your contact now if you want. She's very old, very frail. Her husband's fucking Alzheimer's. He's just dementia. I found him walking before and taking him home. Lovely couple. This fucking horror hubby dude was absolutely fucking charging them a fortune for this hedge. So I've gone in there and I'm just like, what were you getting charged before? I just charge you whatever. And then she told me and I was like, fuck no, I can't charge you that. So I've like dropped the price and she's tried to give me more money. I'm like, no way. So like he was doing different work like stones and shit like that. He did a few other bits and pieces, but I don't know, maybe I'm too cheap. But yeah, I just saw that was a bit of a too big of an upsell.
Yeah, I mean there's 2 sides to it, because there's your minimum. Like if you're going out to do a hedge, if you go anywhere, you kind of want to at least make $50, right? Yeah. And sometimes it can be tough.
This was one hedge, and there was a few zeros in it. So
yeah, okay, yeah,
that's fucking bad.
That's not cool.
And
man.
like you think of a housing village, how big of a hedge it could be. It wasn't even as wide as this room. So yeah, it's pretty bad. But I'm looking after him now. So
yeah. So with the upsells, do you think it's because like we used to do it sometimes, but putting people on like an actual, I think you spoke before about say like a premium package.
Yeah.
Do you actually do packages where it's kind of like a lock-in price?
I did. I'm different now because like for acreages, yes, I will give them like a premium package.
Before you go too far, I just want to say that because I don't love the idea.
Yeah.
It's good in the sense that you are regulating your income.
Yeah.
And you sort of know what you're getting. But I think there's way more opportunities to capitalize financially on just saying like, okay, so, if we mow, it's going to be X price. If we trim the hedge, it's going to be that price.
Even an hourly rate sometimes can be more profitable because the incidentals, when you've got a set price and you say, this property, I'm going to keep this property schmick. We've got this program. And like, say after a storm or something, and you've already said like, we'll tidy up all the sticks and all the shit that's dropped, and an acreage like can be a fucking ton. And I've been caught out there like a couple of times, especially like a couple of weeks ago. We had a mad windstorm come through, and I was just there like, oh fuck, I wish I had like a tractor with a rake on the back.
The power went out here that night at like 10 o'clock. I'd just come in from the office and hadn't even had a shower yet. And like it was kind of warm then as well, but then once the wind really got up and the power went out, then it wasn't that hot. But man, no internet, no fucking lights, and I didn't even bother having a shower. I woke up the next day and I felt like just one of those bums that like I had little white, because like I had like little white whiskers showing everywhere, and I was like, I never shower before work, ever. And I just I felt super gross, but
no, well, that's it, man. I think we're actually on the same power grid as the hospital. So we're not that far away from a hospital. So we're the last ones to lose power. Fucking, yeah, boy.
All right. So continuing on with the premium packages and stuff, is it something that you would recommend? Or do you still think... Because we've sort of got two sectors, like... the residential market, I think it really is different. Like, when you're doing body corps and stuff, a lot of that, it's because they do budgets and they do quarterly meetings and stuff like that. You really do need set prices.
Yeah.
And usually you'd have sort of some sort of scope of works. In the residential market, it's kind of more like, like, okay, that hedge doesn't need doing and we're not going to get paid for it.
Yeah.
But that hedge does need doing. This is what we're going to charge you X.
Yeah.
So I think that is more of a business model to go for.
Yeah.
If it's a smaller job, like I know that we used to, I would have, say isolated cases where we would be doing a residential property, and we'd just duck around for like 10 minutes with a spray pack.
Yeah.
And I used to charge them like $15.
Yeah.
And if I ended up having to spray for 5 minutes longer, it was negligible. It didn't matter.
I think with the premium packages, I know I'm pretty sure that Luke Smith does a lot of package deals. Like he'll do like the whole property. But there's only a handful of customers I've ever done it for. So I'm not really that experienced.
Can I also say that I think it's different with a crew versus solo? Because when you're solo, right, everything is on you. With a crew, but with a crew, it's kind of like, if they lose 10 or 15 minutes here or there, it's not the end of the world, because you're charging them out at one figure and you're paying them another. So if you're not there, you're earning X.
In saying that,
for not doing fuck all.
Yeah, if you've got a whole crew they're all losing 15 minutes, then...
Oh, well, I mean, that's a different issue, though. Yeah. But what I'm saying is, if you fuck up and you weren't spot on that quote, a little underquoted, you can make up for it here, and here.
Yeah.
So, I think there are exceptions.
So what do you reckon are the main upselling points? Like, where have you upsold and made the most money?
For us, so we don't upsell at the retirement village at all.
No, but we'll take it back a little while. I'll do the same because...
But, when I was doing complexes and acreages, and maybe some business environments, some factories, like a lot of the time, like I said, a lot of, they expect those places to kind of be looking good all the time. Acreage a little bit different because it's somebody's money. When you're doing the business and the body corporate, it's someone else's money,
and it's a tax write-off for a business too,
and the upsell is really easy. In a business environment, I'd always, look at stuff and I'd be like, every 12 months we're going to put fresh mulch in.
Yeah.
And, we're going to fertilize twice annually and all of those things. And it's going to cost you X, X, and X. So I've always found those types of environments to be the breadwinners.
Yeah. Yeah.
And now with all sorts of fancy chemicals, like Trimit, and your pre-emergence and things like that, you can actually be charging great dollars to be minimizing your work.
Yeah. Well, I wonder if people are charging for the Trimit or they're just charging for the job and then using Trimit. Because I know, like, if
okay, so Jack Hamilton, north of us, I know, like, he'll pick up a contract and he'll quote them based on the labour, and he'll apply Trimit and charge the same amount. And when they come to him and say, hey, we noticed, you're charging us X, but you haven't, like, been to do the hedge in, like, 6 months, he'll just be like, yeah, but we've applied a chemical that's made this, rah, 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 rah. Now, I do see some issues with that in the sense that I think as a paying customer, you probably want to know about that in advance.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
However, on the contractor side of it, it's not just a walk in the park applying Trimit to some of these things. You're digging down in the soil, you're sort of fighting in amongst the hedges. The chemical is not easy to purchase.
No.
Cheap to purchase. There is some variables there. Overall, it's worth, so the client, I guess in our industry, it's something that we want to keep a secret to the client.
Yeah.
We don't want them to know
that we're getting doing physical labour.
Well, I know at my villages and stuff, we just started messing with it. People, they want to see you working and they want to see their money well spent.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you get a bunch of people who are like, man, we love seeing the hedges look great without hearing all that bullshit hedge trimming noise and seeing all the shit on the floor and, stuff like that.
100%.
So, there are positives and negatives to it. But,
you do have an initial investment, like the product and the time it takes to actually apply it. Because you have to apply it individually. If you've got a big site like you and I have, I'd be picking the worst hedges to do first. So I've already got a few in mind. So, and
it only works up to 2 meters anyway. So once you've got something that goes beyond that,
well, I didn't even have to upsell this, but customers from my big village actually came to me because they're fighting the council to try and get rid of these melaleuca trees that are destroying the road. It's just lifting all the concrete, and with all that big rain, the rain actually channeled underneath through with the roots, and it's shit. It's shocking, and it's a massive trip hazard. So they've been battling with the council to try and get rid of these melaleucas, and they're saying you can put a root barrier in, but they've come to me and they're like, is there anything we can put on these trees? These are fully grown trees that can stunt the growth. I'm like, shit,
I'd stay clear of that one.
I definitely was like, maybe you need to get an arborist involved.
Oh, yeah, man.
They already have, and they've said root barrier, but yeah, I'm not fucking with that. I'm not killing fucking protected trees.
But to answer your question earlier, I think the best upsells are probably your garden side of things with all your mulching, canopy lifting.
Yep.
So people talk about, okay, we can trim that hedge and we can do this. But if you, go around and have a look at some trees on properties and you've got, just those low branches that just look kind of funky and then they've kind of got a little bit of grass poking up and it's just all, I like things tidy,
in the end, that kind of helps you too because you have to go under it without KOing yourself.
Yeah, so every year around this time at my village, we go around with the body corp manager and I go around with DJ.
Yep.
And we don't charge anything extra for this. This is all in our contract. But basically, we go around and we look at everything that's been pissing us off in the summertime.
Yeah.
So, that branch that knocks you in the back of the head, that tree root that's popping up there, the hedges that are just too high where you need to get a ladder.
Yeah.
All of those things. Now, if you have a residential client basis of, say, 50 or 60 clients, you've got a plethora of opportunities of upsell.
Huge. And you probably should already have a list in your head exactly which customer needs what.
Yeah.
So that's pretty cool, man. I'm 100% with you on the mulching is really a really good place to really make some good dollars in winter. Tree trimming. Not tree lopping, but tree trimming. And that's pretty much when I was doing residential, that's where I made my money in the winter. Because tree trimming, sort of garden cleanup sort of area as well as the mulching. So
yep. And if you don't fancy yourself to be much of a salesperson, there's other channels. You can always send an email.
That's exactly what I was just thinking.
Sometimes the emails can be overlooked. Like, I know sometimes you get emails, and you read the first 2 lines, and if you're really busy when you get that email, and you just know that it's just not something that's on your radar, sometimes you can just kind of flick that to the side. So I do think putting someone on the spot is better.
But
sometimes
not if you're not prepared, or not if you're not sort of ready to answer questions that they're going to throw at you. It's really...
Yeah, I mean,
send an email or a text or
the only other downside to that is that if the client is not sure, then they're probably going to go for a no.
Yeah.
But if you can really sell it to them, if there's any sort of safety risk, it's easy sell. But if you can really tell them the benefits of it, okay, this one tree that's against this fence, it's just causing leaves to pile up, and you're getting ants and all of this stuff.
Be careful though. If you include weed spraying in your original quote, don't tell them that mulching their garden will reduce their weeds, because then they'll be like, yeah, well, now you don't have to spray as much. I need some money in return. And we'll be like, nah, that's not going to happen. Just say it will improve the aesthetics of the property, and go with that.
Oh, I mean,
I got caught out, and this old dude's just like, well, if you're not spraying as much, what am I paying you for? I'm like, fuck.
Yeah, well, I mean, that would be easy for me because, number one, visually... the street appeal looks great.
Yeah.
It's adding more nutrients, and it's beneficial to every plant that's in there.
Yeah.
Now, let's face it, it does keep the weeds down.
Yeah.
It will help.
Definitely does.
That's just 3 things off the top of my head.
It's a really good opportunity with the email side of things, though. If you're a guy or girl that works with a lot of real estate, you can send that to the real estate, and they can do some of the legwork for you.
Oh, hell yeah. Anything that has a sinking fund.
Yeah.
Anything that has a sinking fund or a budget, man, get on that upsell, eh?
Yeah. There's lots of money out there.
I think probably the hardest market is the residential paying customer.
Yeah.
Because if someone was coming here to mow my lawn, and they're like, oh, hey, this hedge is looking a little fluffy, bro, and it's I guess it's not a good scenario just because I would fucking just do it myself. But, I know sometimes you just be like, and is this dude just reaching? Or it would depend on,
who you're talking to.
And you want to make sure that if you're, going through the hassle and, you're doing all that, you got to do a damn good job.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
If you upsell and they agree and you do a mad job, the rest of the upsell is so easy.
Yeah, well, that's why I'm a bit umming and ahhing about this big quote. It's I want to make sure that I do a good job, because if I don't, then I'm not going to get the maintenance out of it, and that's what I really want. Especially if I've just freshly mulched the whole place and cleaned up all the gardens and shit. I definitely want the maintenance after that, because it's starting with a clean.
Oh hell yeah, clean slate. Yeah. All right. Anything else to add on the upsell?
No, man, I think we covered most of it. I kind of enjoy doing it, and I think it's a huge part of business, and there's lots of money to be made there.
Yeah, and it's the gift that keeps on giving. So, just quickly, to recap, the advantages of the upsell is, you'll earn more money per client.
Yep.
It will actually create more opportunities in quieter time. So, if you condition a customer to a certain amount of upselling, when times get really tough, like let's say, I know we're supposed to be winding this up. Let's say we head back into a drought, you've been doing all this great work, all of a sudden you've got opportunities like color guard.
Yeah.
So some people don't like this. I'm a huge advocate of it. Painting the lawns, I think looks fantastic, and I really, really do think people eventually will specialize in this.
Yeah.
And I think it will become the norm.
Well, there's people who specialize in the US because of their dormancy period.
Absolutely, but I can really see it in Australia becoming something that can be a super lucrative business. It's just another quick little example of how you can be creative to earn more money with just doing less business.
Yeah.
All right, well, we're going to wrap it up. We're going to put a bow on it.
Shot.
Feel free to leave a review.
Don't forget to check out Bad Workwear.
Yes.
Skull, all in caps, 10% off at the checkout.
And remember, any bad items on the Catch Pro website, you can use the same code.
And please send us some more photos.
Yeah, we love that. So we had Turtle do it.
Yep.
We've had Dee do it.
We want a montage.
No, it's just great because we get to share it.
Yeah.
Then Bad shares it,
Yeah.
and then the word it snowballs from there.
That's it.
And it's all about that network and the community that we're building.
Yep.
All right, we're going to sign out. Thank you for joining us, and we'll see you on Sunday.
Thanks, peeps.